Okay, 5th grade, lesson 107. This is on using percent to name part of a group. Now, let's review what percent means. Okay? How many cents are in a dollar?
100.
Very good. So, this per means per cent. So, we're talking about there are 100 cents in a dollar. So, whenever you see this per cent means per 100. So, if I told you that 50% of the people went to the ball game, then you would write it 50 per 100. That is the fraction form of 50%. Okay?
Yeah.
So, percent always tells us out of 100. Okay? That's always going to be your denominator when you're working with percents. Okay? So now, let me say this. Okay? If I told you that 10% of the 100 people went to the ball game,
Okay.
that would mean 10 out of 100 went to the ball game, because that's 10%. Got it? All right, let's try a few others. The denominator will always be what, Eli, when it's a percent?
Higher than the...
It's always going to be 100.
Oh.
Okay? Percent means per 100. Okay. All right, now, here's the question they give me. If 8 of the 20 children are boys, what percent of the children are boys? Okay, let's take that question again. If 8 out of the 20 children are boys, then what percent of the children are boys? So they told me 8 out of 20. And we learned this a few weeks back. 8 out of 20 would be written like this. That's a ratio. Remember that?
Yeah.
Or you could have written it 8 out of 20, like that.
That looks like
Okay.
820.
I know, it looks like time. Okay? But that's one way that you can write a ratio. I like to do it like this. Okay? Or you could have said 8 to 20. That's another way to write it. This is my preferred way because you need to learn how to do that because as you get older, that's the way you'll do it. Okay?
Okay.
So, what is this fraction telling me? Or ratio that is in a form of a fraction. It's telling me that 8, Eli, 8 out of the 20 children are boys.
Okay.
And we want to know what percent are boys.
So,
Okay? So, right now, what is my denominator?
20.
Uh-huh.
But it
and
can
what
be
do I
100.
want it to be?
100.
I want it to be 100 for it to tell me what our percentage is.
Okay.
Okay, so do you think of anything that we can take 20 and times it by to give us a 100?
I don't know.
Okay, we can take 20, 5 of them, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100.
Okay.
And that makes it 100, right? If I multiply that 20 by 100 or by 5, then I'll get 100.
Okay.
Okay? Now, so this is telling me that this 20 is now 5 times bigger, which gives it 100. So we're going to take this 8 and make it 5 times as bigger so that we have the correct amount of percentage. Because I don't want to do this one 5 times bigger and this one 3 times bigger. Because then they're not equal.
Okay.
So we want to take this 20 and make it 5 times bigger so that we can get a 100 at the bottom. Because 100 at the bottom will tell us what our percentage is.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so we multiplied by 5. Wouldn't you see that I would multiply this 8 by 5? Do you see why I would do that? Because I'm making 20 5 times bigger. So I'm making 8 5 times bigger so that they're equal. Okay, so 8 times 5 is 40. So what percentage of these children are boys?
Percentage, it would be 40.
40%. Very good. You see how we did that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just took the denominator, which was 20, but we want it to be 100 for it to show percentage. Okay, so this still tells us that 8 out of the 20 kids are boys. So what percentage are boys? 40%. See how I did that?
Yeah.
Let's do another one. Okay? And this one we're kind of going to go backwards just a tad, and you'll understand what I mean by that. here's what it says. There were 400 pieces of candy in all. 400 candies. 400 pieces of candy in all. If 60 pieces were chocolate, 60 of these 40 were chocolate. Okay? If 60 pieces were chocolate, what percent of the candy was chocolate? Now, I've got 60 out of the 400 candies.
Okay.
And what do I know 60 is?
6.
60 are chocolate, right?
What?
I know that 60 of these candies
chocolate.
are chocolate. So 60 out of 400 is chocolate. Okay. Now, remember, what do I want my bottom number to be to give me the percentage?
100.
100. Okay, now, I'm going from a bigger number to a smaller number. Whereas earlier, when it was 8 over 20th, we were taking a smaller number and making it bigger. So when I was going from a smaller number to make it bigger, I multiplied by 5.
Yes, so this
So
would
if
be
I'm
subtract.
I'm going to divide. The opposite of multiplying is divide.
Oh.
Okay? So I'm going to take 400, and this time I'm going to divide by the number 4. Okay? Watch this. 400 divided by 4, 400 divided by 4, just written differently, is 4. We'll go into 4 one time. Bring down the 0. 4 will go into 0, 0 times. Bring down the 0. 4 will go into 0, 0 times. We end it. So, does that give us 100 if I divide that by 4? Yeah, which is exactly what we wanted, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you this. Okay, so I took 400 and divided it by 4 and got 100. So what should I do with this number?
60?
Yep. Because right now I just converted the 400 to 100 by dividing it by 4. Now I want to convert the 60 into what percentage we want.
We could divide by 4.
We have to divide it by 4. Okay? Exactly right. You want to make sure you're using the same number to divide by, because we want to make it just as much. If we take, if this is 4 times bigger, we want this one to then be 4 times bigger over here, or 4 times smaller, or 4 times smaller. Okay? So, let's take 60 divided by 4. 60 divided by 4.
Okay.
4 will go into 6 one time. Bring down my 0. 4 will go into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. And we get it ended. So the final answer there is 15. Now, can we easily tell what percent are chocolate?
Yes.
What is it percent?
15.
15% are chocolate.
Okay.
See how we did that? Okay, now, show you one more. This next thing tells me, it said something with this fraction. So let's say 1 out of every 6 children are boys. So I have 1 out of 6 children are boys. Okay, now, what do we want our percent to be the denominator?
6.
What do we want the denominator to be if we're working with percent?
100.
100. Okay, now, stay with me for just a minute. Okay? In order for me to change this fraction into a percent, I need 100 on the bottom, right? Okay, now watch what happens.
We'd have to multiply 6
We'd
by
have to multiply
however many
something.
6s are in one.
But guess what? It doesn't come out evenly or balanced.
Okay.
So, when you reach a fraction that you cannot come up with an even number to go here that will equal 100, we have to do it different.
Okay.
Okay, so watch what I'm going to do. Okay? So, when you come to a place where you cannot come up with a number, for example, let's think of the highest number you know. 9 times 6 is 54. 10 times 6 is 60. 12 times 6 is 72. Still not close to 100. Let's do 15 times 6. See what that is. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6. 7, 8, 9. That equals 90. So if I times it by 15, I get to 90. Still not there yet, right?
Times it by 17.
17 times 6. 7 times 6 is 42. 6 times 1 is 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. I passed. Over.
So we would have to do 16 maybe?
It's 16. Let's try 16. 16 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6. 7, 8, 9. 96. So it's between 16 and 17, right? But we don't know how much.
So it'd be 17.
So what you need to know, no, because that went over. That went to 102.
But it's closer to
Yeah.
100 than 16.
So when you come to that kind of problem, here's what you're going to do. We're going to just do this. 1/6 times 100%. Okay, so stay with me. When you come to one that you don't know how to make it into a 100, you're just going to multiply it by 100.
Okay.
Okay, so watch what happens. 1/6 times 100. Do you remember what I told you could do with a whole number to make it into a fraction?
Do like, for this one it'd be like 99 and 6/6.
That's when you're doing adding and subtracting. You're exactly right. Okay?
I don't know.
On this one's, you're just going to make it 100 over 1. Do you remember me showing you that? Okay, so watch what happens now. Okay? Now we just multiply. 1 times 100 is 100. 6 times 1 is 6.
Okay.
So now we have the fraction 100 over 6.
Okay.
Okay, now let's work this. 100 divided by 6. 100 divided by 6.
Okay.
Okay, so work it with me. 6 times what equals 10 without going over?
1.
1. You have 4 left over. Bring down the 0. 6 will go into 40 without going over. 6 times 7 is 42.
It would.
6 times 6
It
is...
won't go into it evenly.
No, it won't. So we're going to do 6. 6 times 6 is 36, right?
Yes.
I get 4 left over. Is there anything else to bring down?
No.
What does that mean I do?
Remainder 4 over, or just like 4 over 6.
We're going to bring this up here, put 4, slide this over, and 6. Now, is that the final answer?
I don't think it is.
No. 4, 6 reduces. What number will go into both 4 and 6? We always have to reduce fractions.
4.
No. 2.
3.
2 will go into both 4.
3 will.
3 will go into 6, but not 4.
Oh.
So we're going to do 2. 2 will go into 4 how many times?
2.
2 times. 2 will go into 6 how many times?
3.
Very good. So our final answer is 16 2/3%. See how we did that?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you come to a number that you can't get, just multiply it by 100.
Okay.
Okay? That's just kind of the rule of thumb. Now, let's do one more. Here's what it says. The team won 2/3 of its games. The team did. They won 2 out of 3. Okay? Find the percent of its games that the team won. Well, what would I do?
Okay.
What's my first step?
2/3 of the games they won.
2 out of the 3 games they won. What percent of the games did they win? How am I going to work this?
Putting it in percent form,
Okay? And how do I do that?
I'd have to do the 100 thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay? So we want 100 on the bottom, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I do 3 times something to equal 100 evenly?
3 times.
I'm going to go 33 times
Yeah,
3. And watch what happens. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Got close, but we went over. Let's try 34
Didn't
times
go over.
3. I mean, close, but it didn't get quite there. Now let's try, instead of multiplying by 33, let's try 34.
It's gonna
34
go
times
over.
3. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. Went over.
Okay. Well,
So-
99 is 33 is closer. If we're
Right.
gonna
Okay,
round
but
it.
remember what we do when we don't have an exact?
We do the 2/3 divided. Multiplied by the whole number 100
Times 100%. Very good. And what do we say 100 as a whole number does?
100 over 1.
100 over 1. Let's do that. 2 times 100 is
200.
200. 3 times 1 is
3.
3. So the answer is 200 over 3%. But that doesn't make sense because the bigger number's on top, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this says 200 over 3. 200 divided by 3. So let's work this out. 3 will go into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Bring down the 0. 3 will go into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Here's how we'd end. What do I do with this 2?